Imagine this. Would you like the red pill or the blue pill? The red pill will give you all the knowledge of the good and evil of this world. Once you have this knowledge, it cannot be taken away from you. The blue pill will give you a blind eye. You take it willingly to remain in ignorance. After all, having all the knowledge in the world doesn't necessarily mean you have the power to fix everything. So which one would you choose, the red or the blue pill? What if I told you that one of these pills was a placebo, a sugar pill that technically doesn't do anything? What if I told you that you've been taking placebos your whole life? The placebos are all around you. Your mind can be a powerful healing tool when given the chance. You can literally convince your body a fake treatment is the real thing. Now let's rewind the clock to when you were a child. Did you ever hurt yourself and had someone kiss it better? Did it do the trick? If so, you experienced the placebo effect. Obviously the kiss didn't do anything, but because you believed it did, it made you feel better. Placebo is Latin for "I will please" and typically refers to any medical treatment that has no active properties. It's triggered by the person's belief in the benefits from the treatment and their expectation of feeling better. In 1772, when smallpox and typhoid fever left thousands of patients in turmoil, Scottish physician William Cullen had two bizarre ideas. The first was that pure sympathy could cure disease. The second was that an inert substance like mint water could relieve pain. Believe it or not, he was onto something. His notes mark the birth of the placebo effect, or what happens when an inactive treatment convinces your brain that it's a powerful cure. In 1955, war surgeon Henry Beecher published an article that claimed more than 1/3 of all patients could be cured by placebos alone. While the effects are generally temporary, placebo treatments play a key role in understanding the brain-mind-body connection in both medical practice and biomedical research. The effect can also be traced to other aspects of our day-to-day life. When planning to price for a particular product or service, a brand should keep in mind that a lot of their customers have a mental limit on what they're willing to spend. Have you ever noticed that a lot of businesses will sell items at $9.99 instead of $10, or at a 50% off the retail price? These pricing tactics are ways to persuade the consumer they're saving money. To the mind, paying $9.99 seems more reasonable than paying $10, even though it's a cent. And any item that's reduced down with a sales promotion instantly seems like a deal. You'll normally find grocery stores using the product sales tactic placebo by tagging their goods with their store-specific sale color, usually yellow or red, when the product isn't really on sale. This is because the mind has been conditioned to understand that products marked by a specific color usually mean sale. It's important to consider this is a negative way to use the placebo effect in advertising your goods because the experience does not actually meet the consumer's expectation. Societal placebos, or social norms, are constantly altering and being influenced by those we value the most. In high school, for example, the trend might change based on what the most popular boy or girl is wearing. We allow ourselves to spend on the choices of the upper class in our society. Our fashion trends are influenced by what we think others would want us to wear. If a random person on the street wore clothes in a way that doesn't fit the social mindset, they would be looked at negatively and talked about behind their back. But if some famous actor or actress wore the same outfit, the very next day the shelves of the clothing stores would be transformed immediately with that same outfit. We praise these so-called influencers for their creativity and courage to bring new trends out in the market, but tend to neglect our own friends when they do the same. This is an example of the societal placebo effect being misused. Knowledge is power, right? Well, it depends. The time you spend online isn't exactly making you more intellectual, even if you think it is. Yale University researchers performed a number of studies which shows that people who search for information on the web emerge from the process with an inflated surge of how much they know, even regarding topics that are unrelated to the ones they Google. It's important to consider that search engines deliver results based on algorithms, which takes into consideration keywords, user engagement, where you're searching from, what device you're searching on, and your previous search history. Therefore, you might be typing the right words, but the information you're receiving may be misrepresented. On top of that, we've seen the rise of fake news. Websites which deliberately published hoaxes and misleading information appeared widely across the internet. The knowledge you think you gained from your internet search may be nothing more than placebo knowledge. Now, when it comes to social media, studies have shown that when you scan a lot of headlines as you scroll through your phone, even though you don't actually amass factual knowledge, your attitude is impacted by perceived knowledge. After all, the Bible says, "Seek and ye shall find," not "Seek and ye shall become omniscient." Simply the belief that you're drinking alcohol can impair judgment and dent memory, say researchers. According to two psychologists at Victoria University in New Zealand, memory can be affected by alcohol placebo. Tests showed that participants in an experiment who were told they were drinking vodka, but were not, were more swayed by misleading information and more certain their memory was correct than those who were told they were drinking tonic water. The research had given insights into how human memory works and how both social and non-social influences can affect a person's recall of events. Being around drunk people can make you feel drunk too, even if you're not. So you never have to worry about having less fun at a party because you're sober. We recommend not to drink at all, as alcohol lowers your frequency and consciousness. Tricking the body into healing itself is all about salesmanship. Pharmaceutical companies put a great deal of time and effort into choosing the precise color of pills we buy. A report in the International Journal of Biotechnology suggests that red and pink pills are increasingly popular. Pink pills are seen as sweeter and prompt patients to take them in order to achieve the intended effects. Blue and green pills are perceived as calming, whereas red and yellow as stimulating. In a UK study, 835 women were given one of 4 different pills for headache. One group received a well-known branded aspirin tablet. A second group received a simple tablet labeled analgesic, which was typical of a cheaper mass-market brand. A third group received a branded placebo, while the last group received a basic mass-market placebo labeled analgesic. It turned out that the branded aspirin worked better than the unbranded one, but amazingly, the branded placebo worked better than the unbranded placebo, even though they were both made of sugar. Crazy, right? It's also important to consider the nocebo effect. This is when a placebo makes you feel worse. You could call it the placebo effect's evil twin. An example of nocebo response would be a person expecting that a medication will cause negative side effects and then having those troublesome side effects, even though the medication that they are taking is actually an inert substance. Thus, the power of negative suggestion is much bigger than the power of positive suggestion, wouldn't you say? Every day, every hour, we're exposed to an avalanche of negative messages, mainly in the press. Some media experts have argued that the media's focus on negativity is not found in the ratio of bad news to good news, but instead in the psychological human tendency to remember negative memories more clearly than positive ones. Neuroscientist Rick Hanses said, "The brain is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones." The messages with strong emotional value are stored in our subconscious mind, just as the nocebo effect. It's all about the power of the mind. This power can wipe out all physical abilities if you let it take over. It's time for a shift in our thinking. The placebo effect illustrates the importance of the mind for both wellness and disease. The mind constitutes far more than just thoughts. It also includes our subconscious and emotional realm. Delusion tends to persuade us that the physical world is real and the world of the mind of consciousness is imaginary. But just the opposite is true. It's our consciousness, working through the exquisite laws of magnetism, which creates our circumstances, just as it is God's consciousness that creates the universe as a whole. To ensure the right step to wellness is to accept and apply the enormous power of your intentions. As you think, so will you become. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. Please do like, subscribe, and share. Comment down below on your experiences with the placebo effect. See you in the next video.